Welcome to a brand new episode of the post game. My name is Davion. I am your host, and today we are back with Matt,
What up?
Oronde,
Popping.
and Omega.
What's going on, my guy?
And today we are back talking about some NFL playoffs, man. We are like 2 weeks away, well, about 3 weeks away from the start of the playoffs. It's ridiculous that like so many teams still have like in the AFC still haven't clinched. There's only two teams that's clinched in the AFC. NFC, I think they have four,
Yeah.
4 or 5, something like that. But
Four.
regardless, like, how have y'all been? Like, how's this football season been for y'all? Like, how we doing? Like, everybody having a good time?
If you want to call this
Yeah.
season good,
I'm not answering that question. Come
I
on
don't think
now.
any of us can have a positive attitude towards this season.
My team trash, bro.
we had a
Yep.
Christmas miracle this
Yeah.
week.
So we got a Saints fan and myself, a Panthers fan, a Patriots fan, and another Panthers fan. It's just a sad day. So since we're talking about the Panthers, let's start at NFC. I'm gonna go right now. I'm gonna go through the teams that are in the playoffs right now and in the hunt. So right now, 1 through 7, the San Francisco 49ers at 11-4 in first place, Philadelphia Eagles in second place at 11-4. The Detroit Lions won the NFC North for the first time in what did he say, 30 years?
Voter. Yeah, something like
30
that.
years, something like
30
that.
years.
The
The
30
Detroit Lions
years.
have
93.
finished this season. Right now, they're in third in NFC at 11-4. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who I personally think and hope will win the division, are at 8-7. The Dallas Cowboys, 10-5. The Rams are at 8-7. Seattle Seahawks at 8-7. And these teams right now are in the playoffs, and they're at seventh place. Where you have the Vikings, Falcons, Packers, and Saints all trying to sneak in at 7-8. So first things first, which one of these teams do y'all think can actually go all the way and win it all?
The Lions and Niners.
It's got to be the Niners. I love the Lions, but I just think they're too young right now, and they're just they just don't have experience. So that's the only reason why I don't see them going that far. I could see them getting to like the NFC Championship possibly, just based on the like caliber of their team.
Yeah.
But it should be the Niners that are the Super Bowl favorites out of the NFC because, I mean, even after that awful game by Purdy, they're still, to me, the best roster in the entire league, and they should have an easy cakewalk if they get home field advantage. So
I like the Lions because they're youth, and then also because I think the Eagles are still frauds. They're crumbling down the stretch.
Yeah.
And
they're scaring me a little bit
and
too.
some of my favorite creators, like shout out Brett Coleman, great like team breakdowns. He was like, the Eagles basically run a high school offense, and I kind of see it now that I'm going back and like watching stuff.
Absolutely.
On top of the fact that they have so much talent, but they are not scheming right at all. And then, I mean, the Lions, they have that explosive ability, but they need to get their defense like hold opponents to less than like 30 points in the last couple of weeks.
I don't think the Lions going nowhere.
Wow.
Yes,
Why not ride the Lion hype train?
no way.
I mean,
What?
shout out.
Eagles and the 49ers, top two teams in the NFC.
You think the Eagles are still relevant?
Yes, bro. Come on
Why?
now.
They're still relevant.
They're relevant, but not
I don't
in a
think
good
so.
way.
Listen, I think I'm with you. I think the 49ers and the Lions are the only two teams that are possible to get out. I think the high-powered offense of the Rams is really good, but their defense is bad. I think Seattle sneaks in because, somebody has to be in that spot.
And they have
I
two
think Tampa
winnable
Bay-
games coming up too.
Huh?
Seattle has two very winnable games coming up as well.
Exactly. I think Tampa Bay, they are in a bad division, so somebody has to get in. And I think they are like Baker Mayfield is playing his ass off, and I think that's what we're watching right now from the Tampa Bay.
You know they're doing good when he praises Baker.
Easy. Easy. Who do
Hey,
you
I
like?
like the Seahawks team, bro. They a real young team. I like that team, bro. But they're not gonna win nothing. But I'm just saying I like them.
Do you think so? Who would they play in the first round? They would play Philly.
They gonna
Yes.
get beat.
They play Detroit, right? If they're the
Uh,
7th or if
I
they're the
forgot.
final team in, right?
I
'Cause
forgot what
Seven
the
plays
Niners
two,
would get
right?
the first
Does
round bye.
7 play 2 or no?
Well, because the first team gets the first round bye, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they played Detroit. I
I'm
don't
seeing
think
I'm seeing Detroit at 3rd right now.
it says second for me on here on the NFL's page, but I
Oh,
don't.
okay. Oh, that's fine
Oh,
too.
I guess because they're both 11-4, Philly and Detroit, so it's kind of a toss up, right?
Yeah,
They're
it
all
depends on whoever, whatever the tiebreaker looks like. So, listen, I think, okay, so I'm going to say this. I think the 49ers are the best team in the National Football League. I think they need to correct themselves before it becomes too late. I think last night we saw Brock Purdy and that team. There's a lot of batted balls for picks. There's this, they just never got themselves going. They just came to the party too late. Like we've seen the Ravens destroy top teams in the league. They destroyed the Lions earlier in the season. They destroyed another team. I don't remember who it was, but like they have handsomely shown that they can, topple teams. But there are also times where, they blew out the Seahawks and they blew out the Browns as well. So listen, I think there are times where you see these teams like the Ravens, and it's like I'm not sold on them. We're not talking about the AFC yet, but I'm not sold on them yet. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
So with the Ravens, they do have a top 5 offense when it comes to production. They are number 5. They also have a top 10 defense at number 6, and currently have the best, or their defense is holding teams to their lowest points per game in the league. They've overtaken the top spot from the Browns at holding teams to 16 points per game. Not to mention, they're not turning the ball over as much either.
You could also argue Lamar's the best QB in the NFL right now.
I think that's a good take.
I don't think it's that hot. I think it's
Not a hot take. I think it's a good take.
I am. And I know people are going to be like, "Oh my gosh, you've been on Brock Purdy's all season long. Like you've been never said anything bad about Brock Purdy." But like, I'm not sold on Lamar. I think Lamar is a very talented player. I think what he's doing this season is showing that. But there were times throughout the season where they looked awful. Like their offense looked like they couldn't get
awful, but there's a lot of upside to it.
Absolutely. I mean, but like when the team gets to that point where it's like there's no time to look bad, can they fight through that? Like that's my only question is can they go through the fire whenever it starts to get hot?
I think there's a reasonable expectation of them, because on top of having a good defense, a good offense, and one of the most important things, they are winning the turnover battle. They are plus 10 on the season with 2 other teams. Now, the other 2 teams might surprise you. It's Tampa Bay and the Steelers. All 3 of them are tied at first with plus 10 in the season.
That makes sense.
But
I mean, look at it. Okay, let's look at their last couple of games they played. Okay, let's switch to the AFC. Let's talk about the Ravens real quick. They played Jacksonville, who, in my opinion, they aren't a good team. They played the Rams.
They've been very inconsistent.
Yes, that as well. I mean,
they're a good team.
They're good, but they're
Rams
not.
Are a good team.
They're not.
They fought. They're fighting good teams as well, and they had a slow start to the season.
Yeah, and they've been 10 times better. They've gotten better and better every week.
McVay is finally extracting all he can get out of that team, out of that roster.
Wait, did I say the Rams? I'm sorry, I meant to say Jacksonville. That's on me. That's on me. I was thinking about Jacksonville. Yeah, Rams. I agree with y'all. The Rams have showed that they are a really good team, and they are playing good football right now. I was talking about Jacksonville. They're the ones, in my opinion, who aren't a good football team. Like they just are inconsistent. They don't have an offensive line. Their defense,
and they're lucky to have the tiebreakers over the Texans and the Colts already, so they hold first place in the South.
And also, Trevor Lawrence is kind of banged up too, so that doesn't help.
Oh, he is hurt. They need to sit him for the rest of the year. Take care of your franchise QB.
Literally. And then they played the Chargers, who we know who they are. Then they played the Bengals, you know who they are. Like, in my opinion, they haven't played good teams like up until last night, that when they were hot. You can argue the Rams, but the 49ers last night was one of the first games where they were like, they had to play a good team. Now they play Miami next week, which I think will be one of the games of the year. And then their last week, they're going to play just Pittsburgh Steelers, who obviously they're going to want to not let them win. So I think
the Steelers did beat them earlier in the season too, held them to only 10 points.
Those are always crazy games too.
Exactly. And so I think you have to watch out for that. Like, I definitely think you have to watch out for that Pittsburgh and Baltimore, and you have to watch out for the other one.
I just realized
offense next week.
Lamar is the leading rusher for the Ravens, kind of like
Yeah,
what
they
Josh
run
Allen
it.
did last year.
They run what 4 running backs this year?
Yeah, they just lost another one to a season-ending knee injury.
Yeah,
Gee,
Keaton
really?
Mitchell. Yeah, Keaton Mitchell. He tore his ACL or something last
His
week.
his
What are they
whole knee
doing?
his whole knee went backwards.
It was
Bro,
gross.
wasn't it last year before like the season even started?
Oh yeah,
like
they
3
lost
running
two in
backs?
the,
J.K.
they lost
Dobbins
2
got
before the
hurt
season
earlier
opener.
this season.
What are we doing? What a joke. So here, let's talk about the AFC. At first place, Baltimore Ravens at 12-3. Second place, Miami Dolphins at 11-4. Third place, Chiefs at 9-6. And it's been a hard 9-6 for the Kansas City Chiefs. Jacksonville at 8-7. At 4, the Cleveland Browns at 10-5, which, you know, a lot of conversation around them. Buffalo Bills at 9-6, and then the Colts at 8-7.
The Browns are 10-5.
Yeah.
So hold on. Before you get so
Yo,
in the hunt, we
Flacco
got
throwing that ball,
the
man.
Texans, Steelers, and Bengals all at 8-7. Browns at 10-5. What did we do? What's happening?
It's called a top 5 defense,
Yep.
and on top of that, add a gunslinger with a receiver he can trust.
2.
bet.
I mean, he
loves Coop and
and
Njoku.
Njoku. Yeah, loves him.
And
Mark
Njoku.
Cooper got me 51 points this week, man.
I did. Yeah.
Speaking of great performances, Brees Hall got me 48.
Right.
48. Yeah. He lit.
I mean, I think it's pretty ridiculous that Flacco went from sitting on his couch to having, in my opinion, I think he's had better games than Watson's had like at all with the Browns
Absolutely.
already.
Facts.
100%.
Like
That's not even a debate. Like what
it
he's
is so
doing
impressive
right
to
now
me.
is crazy. Like I am not understanding or fathoming how Joe Flacco has done what he has done. Like I don't have his numbers. Let me see his numbers.
in 4 games, he has 1,300 yards, 10 touchdowns, 7 interceptions.
Oh, he's had that many?
Pretty good.
In 4
He done
games.
threw about last game he threw 2. The game before that, I think he threw 3 interceptions.
Yeah.
But
I think that'll be their downfall right there.
300 plus yards, but
360 just against Houston, 368, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions with a bomb to Cooper for 75 yards.
Shout out to
And
Mark
96.
Cooper, 260. Was it 265 this week?
11 receptions.
He broke a franchise record, right, for the Browns.
He wanted to go out and get more.
He put Ohio State numbers up.
Jesus.
Yeah. So
That's insane.
So let's look at this. So who do we think, and this, in my opinion, is harder than the NFC. Who do we think is the top dog in the AFC right now?
And the
And it
AFC
could be
is
more
the
than one.
Ravens.
It's the Ravens.
It's just the Ravens,
Still-
but
it's still
the
Baltimore.
dark horse
like the
is the
Dolphins.
Browns. People are going to
The
write
Browns.
off the Browns because they're on their backup quarterback.
What about the Bills?
Hell no.
Let me say why, but
Okay.
that's fine. Let me say why though.
I'll have to give the Bills their credit because they haven't fallen off since their loss to the Patriots early in the season. But I'm not going to say that I'm scared of them.
But let me tell you why I think people should be afraid of them. Because they have established a running game.
Finally.
Well, they do have a runner.
What have they failed at over the past 4 or 2 or 3 seasons, or however long it's been, is not having a running game. They're relying on Josh Allen to be a running back. Now they have established a running game, so now they can create a play action, and their defense is coming right along with them. So I think like people are not talking about the Bills team enough. I'm not saying they're going to go win it all, but I definitely think they'll be competitive. I think the Colts are going to fall off, and I think Pittsburgh is going to pop into that 17.
The Bills are still top 10 in all important stats. They're they're 9th in passing yards a game, 7th in rushing yards a game, and 6th in points per game. Now, I'm a Bills hater. I'm gonna forever be a Bills hater.
You have to be.
It's my responsibility. I'm biased against them. I still don't trust them. So if they went out,
1-7.
they have to beat New England again and beat Miami as their season closer. If they went out,
but
I'll give them their flowers.
They don't have to.
They should. If you want to be a
They
playoff
should be,
contender,
right?
they should.
You're right.
No
'Cause
team's
if they-
gonna say, no team's gonna try to get a specific seeding. Like you want to be the best. Like that just doesn't make sense.
So wait, I think they'll finish with 10 wins. I think they'll beat who they have next this week. The Patriots. They're gonna blow y'all out. I
Patriots?
think personally. They're
You
gonna blow
think
y'all out.
they should have blown us out the beginning of the season?
They're
It's
gonna
gonna
blow
be
you out.
close. This is the
And
problem
it's
because Josh Allen against bad teams does some stupid stuff, like
Yeah,
so
yeah.
dumb. Like he acts like he can, like he has to like be the
Put on
hero
his own.
every time.
and
and
then don't even get me started on us beating the Broncos with
What
4
a
of our
joke.
starters
Right.
out.
Right.
Actually, 5 starters out because Hunter Henry was a game time decision and he was out. Imagine if we get everybody back. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna hope they lose, but watch us win out of spite at this point. Win
So,
out of spite. Play
Here's the
spoiler.
thing. You're looking at let's look at those bottom 2 teams. The Bills, Colts, and then you have the Texans, Steelers, and the Bengals in the hunt. I think the Texans are done because CJ's done. And I think there's no point.
Is he
Think
actually
Dell's
out for the
done.
season, or is he still concussed?
I
Or
think,
like-
I think they
he's,
ruled him out for the season, didn't they?
I think
I
he's
haven't
done for
heard
the
anything
season.
on that. I just thought he had like a really bad concussion. He's been
I'll
out.
check in on CJ.
I thought he was out for the season for something.
If-
I think they what I saw first was like he's done, like they're gonna wrap it up. I think the Bengals are done as well.
yeah,
I think Pittsburgh,
done.
they are gonna creep into that number 7 spot.
Pittsburgh will get those 9 or 10 wins, and then like bounce out of the first round somehow, or just not even make it. Like
But the Colts have a route. I mean, the Colts, well, they have a really red hot Raiders team this week, and then they have the Texans on the final week. So
If the Colts get in
get
the
to win,
playoffs, they are getting whooped.
huh?
If the Colts get in the playoffs, they are getting whooped.
Absolutely. But I think now we're looking at like who's gonna actually make it in. Because I think the Colts are gonna fall out, and I think the Steelers are gonna jump to 7. Personally.
Stroud's still making progress on his concussion protocol. Still
now,
no
see,
official status.
if Stroud comes back for these last 2 games, I like them making the playoffs more than like I could see them potentially winning the division too, because there's all of those 3 teams are 8 and 7.
Yeah, they play the Titans this week, and then they play the Colts.
Right.
It's not bad.
Man. Okay.
There's a whole lot of questions still going on at the bottom of the AFC. But let's look at the top of the AFC. We haven't mentioned this team, and it's crazy that we haven't mentioned this team. Kansas City Chiefs. What's going on with Kansas City right now? They just lost this week to the Raiders on Christmas. And they just look like they never got it going. Their offense looked a little stale and lackluster.
The
What's going
Raiders would, hey, I watched that game. The Raiders were dropping back 20, playing off 20 yards from them receivers. All they have to do was run shallows the whole game.
on?
Really. Travis Kelce was coming off the line, running a little drags. He was wide open every time. He really didn't have no time yesterday, for real. But
And they knocked Isaiah Pacheco out, so they took their running game away.
Right.
Oh, Batinko went down?
Yeah.
You got
And then
concussed.
his medical
2
table fell.
defensive touchdowns.
Yeah. I saw that.
Yeah, they had like 2 defensive touchdowns in like 15 seconds or something, right? What a
Yeah.
joke.
That's crazy. You called me. You
that-
called me right when that happened too.
Yeah.
That Jack Jones pick, someone found the exact same play for like a year or 2 ago. And it happened again. He threw it to the outside, and the corner safety came down and snatched that hoe.
Bro,
He
it
put
just
too
doesn't
much air under that ball.
I think like what's going on right now is that Patrick doesn't trust his receivers.
Yep. That's
Andy
exactly
Reid
what I
is
was gonna
trying to
say.
make it
I
too
wouldn't either.
complicated.
But
Mhm.
here's another
And
thing.
their team just is not like there's no team cohesion.
They've
Big Red is
lost-
like messing it up.
They've
and
lost
I'm
3
not
of
gonna
their
say
last
that's-
5.
What?
It said the Chiefs have lost 3 of their last 5.
I mean they started the season off a little slow, then they got red hot mid season, but now they're like starting to decline. And we all know December comes and you don't want this. You don't want
I'm
this
about to say-
feeling of decline.
Be serious though. Who want to see them though in the playoffs?
Nobody. Not a soul.
I mean, I don't know.
Regular season Chiefs.
Anybody
all
wants to see
day.
them? It's going to be the Ravens. Because let me tell you how you beat the Chiefs. You put pressure on Patrick Mahomes and you allow him to make those mistakes. That's how you beat the Chiefs.
That's true.
Or
Yes,
if you play
Mahomes has 14 interceptions on the season.
Mahomes.
Yeah, this is definitely like his
Yeah.
worst season of
How
his
many
career.
TDs?
26 touchdowns.
Still,
Dang.
it's still pretty good.
Yeah.
But like it's not Mahomes-esque. I don't know. And also something's up with Travis. Like he just seems like he's just something's off with him.
Man
And like
stole his helmet
he
yesterday.
just doesn't seem like he's the focal point anymore. I
But
don't
we know
know.
we've been talking about this. That well, at least I've been hearing all season long that like he's not loving. He's 35 years old for one. Like
Right.
that's
I
old.
ain't know that.
I don't even want to talk about Travis retiring. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to talk
Well,
about
I'm
it.
gonna say it. Like
I don't
like
want to. I don't want to hear
saying
it.
how he's not really in the mood anymore, and that like retirement could be there.
I love watching Travis play. I don't
Like,
want
do
him
I
to
think he'll
retire
retire this season? Absolutely not. But a season from now, 2 seasons from now, it's like he starts to. I'm not going to say he's not declining whatsoever. Like that's not close to what I'm saying. What I am saying though is that like they're at a point
yet. The
where
Chiefs are humans again.
that and he's not having fun. Like he's not having fun anymore. Like it's just a job now. Like he'd rather go be on tour with Taylor, having fun with her. And I'm not saying that as like he needs her, blah blah blah. No, I'm just saying like he just doesn't want to be knocked down all day. He doesn't want to go to training camp at the beginning of next season. Like he doesn't want to do that. So it's like after Jason retires this year, it's gonna be like, oh, okay, so maybe I got a year, maybe I got 2 years left in me. But realistically, I don't want to do this for my whole life. And I don't blame him. I mean, he's 35 years old, like, is old, like in the NFL. It's old.
Yeah.
You know who's older? Mercedes Lewis scoring a tutty.
Yeah, but he doesn't play.
He's
Not
39.
not
My
good.
brother is 39.
Hold on. I want to shout out real quick, Panthers fans. I saw Mike Tolbert put a hole in the drum today this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, still filling out that damn jersey.
No, he ain't filling it out. He almost busted out of it. Oh man. So here's as we begin to wrap up. Super Bowl predictions. Who do we got?
I'm saying Niners, Ravens again, the top seeds.
Hey, you want me to be serious?
It's
Yeah.
basic, but it's the most sense. It makes the most sense.
Oh no, wait, time out. Sorry, time out. We didn't say I'm worried about the Miami Dolphins. I don't want to be crucified.
We
by
don't
Dolphins
we don't
fans.
have to talk about them. We have
No.
faith that they will produce and win.
Hey,
They beat the Cowboys. I watched that entirety of that game while I was stuffing my face with Christmas dinner. Tua is still Tua. Tyreek is still catching passes. Their defense actually played defense. Dolphins play defense. The Dolphins play defense. Lord Jesus, the Dolphins play defense.
How did Jalen Waddle do? Hold on, give me.
he got hurt twice.
He got hurt?
Got hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, he caught a 50-yard pass and then
somebody
hurt him.
dove at his ankle.
Yeah. I was gonna say, well, if they start incorporating him, he'll be fine. So, okay, so we're looking at this. Omega, what's your prediction?
Hey, 49ers and the Dolphins. I think they get their stuff together. They can beat anybody, bro. That's just me. I like the Dolphins. They're not my favorite team, but I like their roster.
Hold on, Oronde, what's yours?
Yeah.
I'm conflicted. Can I wait another week? So
Nope.
after this,
Absolutely not. There's no way you're gonna sit here.
Here's what I'll say about Miami. I think Miami's great. They're a great team, but Tua just scares me. He's not consistent enough. And do I trust him or Lamar? I would rather have Lamar as my QB, obviously, than Tua.
I would say that question itself is pretty.
Tua has been amazing. He has the most passing yards on the season. He's been great. But like we've seen, they've only beaten one team that's above 500 this year.
Yeah.
And like these injuries with their receivers, Waddle going down again, Tyreek, he seems fine, but again,
Waddle's not on the injury report, so I think he's fine.
He's fine now. Okay, then that changes everything because they need those two guys, period. Like they have to stay healthy in order for them to have a chance. And obviously you can say that with any team having their best players be healthy, but still, like literally Tua just, I don't know. He just turns into kind of,
you know what? After some contemplation,
oh boy,
I'm going to go the silly route. Give me. Since y'all went serious, I'll go silly. Give me Miami, Detroit Super Bowl.
I love that. I'd love to see that.
One could hope. So here, wait, before I give my prediction, I want to say one thing before I forget. Me and Freddie, like 3 weeks ago, we talked about Miami Dolphins as a team. It was right after they lost to whomever they lost to a couple weeks ago. The big problem with
Tennessee
Miami,
Titans.
Tennessee, right? Tennessee.
yes, Tennessee, exactly. The big problem with the Miami Dolphins is that whenever teams scheme Tyreek Hill out of their offense, they don't know what to do. Mike McDaniels does not know what to do. So my thing is that you have a duplicate of what Tyreek Hill is in Jalen Waddle. Why don't you scheme for him? Why don't you scheme for him 90% as much as you scheme for Tyreek? Because these two players can both tear the roof off of any single team. They can blow the doors off any team. So instead of just scheming for one player like Tyreek Hill and then making Tua just go straight to him or relying on him, scheme for both of them. Mix up your offense. Teams don't just scheme for the number one option. They just don't do that. It just does not make sense to me how they continue to do this week in and week out. And that's why, in my opinion, if they do that in the playoffs, they will lose. But my prediction, give me the 49ers, who I've had since day one. Give me the Miami Dolphins. That's it. That's who I'm gonna go with. I think the Ravens defense is incredible. It's been a while since we've seen them this scary and this hungry. But I think when it comes to the Miami Dolphins, that high caliber offense, all they need is a mediocre defense and they'll be fine. And Mike McDaniel, in my opinion, is such a great head coach. Don't get me wrong. Is it John or Jim that's in Detroit? I don't never know.
It's
John?
John. Jim is in Michigan.
Okay, John.
Okay.
Listen, John Harbaugh is incredible as well. I think when we see these two teams play each other, it will be one of the best games of the season. Plain and simple. Actually, it's going to be on Sunday night, so look out for that. Any final thoughts before I wrap it up here today?
TMC for MVP.
CMC or Reek for MVP.
Either or, yeah.
I'm gonna be rooting hard for Baltimore this year. I really think they have the best chance to make it to the Super Bowl, and I hope they do because that franchise has been waiting for. I mean, they got one a while ago, but I just want to see Lamar win.
What if we get Flacco another ring before Lamar gets one?
Oh my God! If he wins one with Cleveland,
it's a bad
that'd be incredible. That'd be incredible.
Gotta love it. Well, I appreciate y'all for joining Oronde. I was gonna say Freddie, Matt, and Omega. Appreciate y'all for joining today. Let us know, NFL fans, how you feel about this. Let us know who you think is gonna make the Super Bowl. Who do you think? If you think our predictions were wrong, let us know. I would love to hear your thoughts. But I'll be your host, Davion. That's been the rest, and this has been the post game. Peace.